Hello everyone, Soprano Theories here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another video. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, be sure to click subscribe and click the bell to get notifications on all upcoming Sopranos content. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more daily Sopranos content. The links will be in the description below. With the first episode of The Sopranos premiering 23 years ago this past week, I thought what a perfect opportunity to look back and discuss what makes a television series like The Sopranos so special and unique. Before a television series like The Sopranos came along, television followed a strict pattern that featured comedies and sitcoms. These television series provided episodic storylines and no character growth or development. This was especially the case during the 1990s, with series like Friends, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Seinfeld all following this design. But as we all know, The Sopranos changed television forever, and that will be a topic for another video. When the opening credits of The Sopranos roll, and you hear the now iconic and synonymous "Woke Up This Morning" by Alabama 3, all while the visual landscapes of New York and New Jersey are passing us, and this mysterious character who is holding a cigar that we would eventually come to know and love as Tony Soprano, we just know that we are going to be witnessing a television series unlike any other. While on a first glance to a casual viewer or a first-time viewer of The Sopranos, one may think that the show is strictly just a mafia-themed television series, as obviously the series does display clear themes of violence and murder, even in the series' pilot episode. However, on a much deeper level, the show is so much more than a mafia-based television series, as The Sopranos is every bit of baked ziti, murder, and mafia hits, as it is about mental health, depression, anxiety, and personal growth. In the first episode of The Sopranos, we learn so much about the show. We learn that as an audience, we will be witnessing so much more than a mafia boss visiting a therapist to control his sudden panic attacks and how to come to terms with his delusional mother. First off, what makes the series so memorable and unlike any other is the performances by the cast members. This rightfully starts with the series' main character, Tony Soprano, who is played perfectly by the late great James Gandolfini, as the performance by Gandolfini sits right up there with cinema's most memorable performances like Al Pacino and Marlon Brando in The Godfather. The Sopranos introduced audiences to the first ever television anti-hero in Tony Soprano, as Tony was basically the angriest and yet most sympathetic television character ever created. As Tony is both immoral and engaging, where to a point, he leaves us obsessed with this sociopathic, murderous family man. But it's not just Gandolfini that delivers the performance of a lifetime throughout the series, as virtually every cast member brings out arguably their best work of their acting careers. Edie Falco delivers countless of brilliant performances as the contradicting Carmela Soprano, a wife to a mafia boss who knows exactly what her husband does for a living and what he has to do to support her family and her luxurious spending habits, and yet is too scared to face the reality that lies within. Other performances that stand out are Lorraine Bracco's delivery of Dr. Melfi, Aida de Toro, who played the crazy Janice, Michael Imperioli, and Andrea Di Matteo's amazing performances of a doped-up couple, and both Jamie Lynn Sigler and Robert Eiler display acting at its finest by displaying maturity throughout the 6 seasons. As well as who could forget the late great Nancy Marchand. The Sopranos didn't feel as if it was acting. It felt as if we were just a fly on the wall in the mini mansion that the dysfunctional Sopranos called home. It's within these performances where audiences are witnessing the growth and development of television characters like we'd never seen before, as a character growing and developing was something audiences had seen more so in film rather than in television. Take Tony for example. When we're first introduced to him, he comes off as this depressed mafia boss who's a lovable family man. But as the series continues on, and by the series' final season, Tony is evil, selfish, sociopathic, and full of greed. Or there's even the characters of Meadow and AJ, where we watch these two children grow and mature into adults. Not only do the audiences watch these characters change and evolve over time, but they are also taken on this journey of the mafia world of The Sopranos changing as well, as the entire show becomes one dark cloud that hangs over the heads of our favorite characters. And by the end of it, we're still wishing that the show continued despite everything crumbling around Tony. To go along with the brilliant performances that we see in the series, The Sopranos also provides its audiences with an incredible amount of superb storytelling and writing. The Sopranos featured 86 episodes, and every single episode is a miniature movie in its own individual way. Whether it's written by David Chase, Terrence Winter, Mitchell Burgess, Robin Green, Frank Renzulli, or Michael Imperioli, each episode is presented flawlessly. The series' sense of direction and keeping the audience on the edge of their seats almost every single episode provided a great emphasis on what was coming next. The Sopranos was the first television show to really push the television boundaries, not only with its writing and storytelling, but also with the topics that it dealt with. The Sopranos changed television forever, as it brought brutal violence and bold storylines to family homes every Sunday night. These were such as Dr. Melfi's rape scene or Meadows' soccer coach being charged with sexual assault. The Sopranos' innovative storytelling surpassed the standard clear-cut and repetitive storytelling that audiences had been so accustomed to seeing from cable television. Its fresh, new, exciting, and bold way of relying on the audience to remember certain details and moments, rather than have the show repeat itself, was exciting and new to network television. Throughout the series, the writing never contradicts itself. Whether it was the Russian in the woods or Christopher's first murder, it wasn't your traditional television show that audiences had seen before. This was largely due in part to David Chase leaving so many doors open and so many unanswered questions as the series went along, that would later be revisited in later episodes, as this was usually the case every season, with season-long climaxes that led to huge outcomes at the end of every season that more often than not resulted in a main character getting killed off. Another reason why The Sopranos is so special is the multiple themes of the show. Aside from being a fictional mafia drama, the show itself is so much more than a mafia-based television series. I truly love how funny the series is. There's so many classic one-liners from multiple characters that will make you crack up every time you rewatch the show. The Sopranos too teaches you about life lessons. It reminds you to enjoy these simple things in life by showcasing themes of family, as well as displaying themes of religion, relationships, free will, death, depression, psychotherapy, and redemption. The Sopranos itself is extremely relatable. While I do have a video on just how relatable the series is and can be releasing in the future, the character of Tony Soprano represents the views, standards, and ideologies of the American Mafia around the turn of the century, as around this time the Mafia was nearing its demise in the United States. But Tony Soprano also represents America at that time too, as the series' creator, David Chase, has made it abundantly clear that Tony represents the American dream, where immigrants came to America in search for a better life. The show connects with audiences on so many themes or topics, whether it's technology changing, political events, and historical events that were all displayed immensely throughout the show, as many Americans felt a sense of confusion and were frightened at what the future held going into a new millennium. Despite Tony being a mafia boss and a sociopathic murderer, millions of Soprano fans can relate to Tony struggling with his mental health. Whether it was him trying to control his panic attacks, his depression, anxiety, stress, or his uneasy relationship with his mother, the show instantly resonated with fans by addressing these issues. What set the show apart from others is the realistic emotions and actions that the characters conveyed. The Sopranos doesn't feel as if you're watching a fictional world on television or film. It just felt real and human. A show like The Sopranos came off as extremely relatable to middle-aged Americans. Even with these masculine men who are tough, intimidating, and murderers, The Sopranos shows that all of us struggle with our own mental health and anxieties, despite not everyone being able to relate to a New Jersey mob boss. The Sopranos was and is so brilliant in every way. It truly was a cultural phenomenon and seriously changed television forever. The Sopranos and David Chase introduced audiences to a television anti-hero in Tony Soprano that would later inspire countless of other anti-heroes. It's arguable that without the character of Tony Soprano and the Sopranos in general, there isn't a Walter White or a Breaking Bad. There isn't a Dexter or even an Ozark, as the writing and delivery for the show set the boundaries for the future of television with other anti-heroes being introduced, and also by advancing television's landscape and its narrative, as this would be the cliffhangers, the suspense, and killing off main characters that we now see in shows like Game of Thrones. To answer the question what makes The Sopranos so unique and special is everything. From the once-in-a-lifetime performances by the entire cast, the series' creative and compelling writing and storytelling when it came to every episode, its sense of direction by leaving audiences full of suspense from having Tony being virtually a ticking time bomb, and the series' relatability towards America during the beginnings of a new millennium. The Sopranos is truly a television masterpiece. Outside of the clothes, technology, cars, and popular culture within the series, The Sopranos still holds up extremely well to this day. It was the perfect mix of everything that makes film, television, media so compelling to audiences. Its comedy, acting, writing, character development, its relatability, and then tie it all into the mafia genre that millions of fans had come to know and love. It was the perfect fit, and something that had never been done or brought to network television before. Just the idea alone of millions of fans like myself and you watching this video are still fascinated with The Sopranos. Even following its now infamous ending after a mere 15 years has passed since the series' epic finale, and the constant and never-ending discussion speaks to the true brilliance of the show, as in my opinion, no other television show will ever come close to The Sopranos, as David Chase's television series The Sopranos is the single greatest television series of all time. What do you think makes The Sopranos so special and so unique? Let me know down in the comment section below. For more Sopranos content, keep it locked here, right here on this channel.